scale?
Well, we certainly intend to publish a bunch of it. We've been doing that. We're just getting to the point where people are wanting to hear more, so we're certainly telling. But beyond that, we haven't gotten to the stage of really thinking about interventions. We've been more thinking about how does this really work, but we are certainly getting to the point where we feel like we have a bunch of data, so if people are interested and want to hear about it, we're happy to tell them. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of writing over the summer. I know that's going to come up. Okay. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you would have passed out these same questions like in Denver, Colorado to a bunch of students. We lived there for a year. Yeah. And just that year being there, I think, I get some other answers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely depends, certainly to some extent, although I have a couple different feelings about that kind of a question. One is that we did do a lot of these studies in Kansas, so they have a very different perspective. We did a bunch of them in upstate New York, so those are very different types of places. We did some little amount of work in Canada, which is oil and banking area, so that has a different view. So we seem to be getting it in different places, but I think you're absolutely right in the sense that some of those cultural or individual differences, political differences, whatever they may be, certainly probably play some role. But what's interesting is, part of what I like about running studies here is we have a lot more political diversity than other places I've been. And you seem to be getting some of these results across anyway, but sometimes they don't look as strong. But even when you get more political diversity, you still seem to get them. So I don't know how far you would have to go one way or the other to tip the scale. Maybe I haven't been far enough one way or the other to tip it. But I think that even if you did, though, let's imagine that all my effects were wiped out because I went and did this somewhere where the people were very different. I still think you would get collective guilt effects, but they would be collective guilt effects for something different. Right? So if I went to, let's say, an extremely politically conservative area where climate change was something that people didn't agree with and didn't think was real or something like that, they might be not collectively guilty for not doing things to change the climate, but they might be collectively guilty for not stopping climate change research from getting into the public schools and their children were learning it. So I think that both sides are quite moral. The question becomes, which issues are they being moral about, and how does that work? So I think you could still get the effects, but they might be on a different topic, if that makes some sense. Kind of goes back to there's a guy who says there's 6 different Americas out there in terms of what we think about climate change, and whichever the 6 you have in your study are going to make a difference. I think he's absolutely right, but so far we haven't had too much effect from that. But they are students, so yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think it is time to thank Dr. Ferguson for a very interesting talk.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
if you have any further questions, I know Dr. Ferguson would be happy to speak to you after we formally dismiss. And please remember that this talk and others are posted, well, this will be posted, on the College of Letters and Sciences website. The URL is in this booklet. So if you would like to see this again, or tape recordings of any past ones, feel free to visit or send your friends and family. I mean, holidays will be coming. You can just send them the URL. So thank you very much.
Thank you.